everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Stephanie, and today I'm going to do my March wrap-up. So I read a total of 20 books in March. It was a really good reading month for me, and I also participated in March Mystery Madness. So because I read so many books this month, I'm not going to do a synopsis for each book that I read, but I will tell you my ratings and provide a little commentary if I think it's necessary. Um, I am filming a separate video for my March Mystery Madness wrap-up, so I will make sure that that is linked to this video so that you guys can get more information about the books I read for the different prompts for that month-long mystery readathon, which was so fun. So the first book I have, which is probably my favorite book that I've read this year so far, and I do have a spoiler-free review, which I will link down below, and that is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and I tabbed the crap out of this book. This is the UK paperback edition, and this follows the story of Daisy Jones and the band The Six and their skyrocket to fame and their sudden breakup and the story behind it. I loved this book so much, and I gush about it in my review, so I'm going to stop myself, but 5 out of 5 stars. Please go check this book out. The next book I read was the March Book of the Month for the Cozy Mystery Book Club series, hosted by protagonist and writer A. Hart, and that is The Whole Cat and Caboodle by Sophie Ryan. I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. The characters were really awesome, and my favorite character is actually the cat Elvis. He has quite the personality, so this was a really fun cozy mystery. And this is the first book in the Second Chance Cat mystery series. The third book I read was Bowled Over by Victoria Hamilton. This is the second book in the Vintage Kitchen mystery series. I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars. Really fun, cozy. The next book I read is a book that actually means a lot to me. It is the 10-year republication edition of Sister by Nicole Brown. This is a poetry collection, and it's a novel and poems, and I actually had the privilege to have Nicole as a teacher for a few poetry classes in my undergrad. I was an English and creative writing major, and she had such an influence on my writing and let me know that it's okay to write really shitty stuff because you can always edit it and make it better later. The point is to just get it out. And this book is so beautiful. I've read this, I don't even know how many times, and I always cry at some point because the language in here is beautiful, and she's really good with making her poems succinct and powerful with very few words. And the line breaks are a lot of fun, and you can tell that she just put her heart and soul into this book. And the really cool thing about this is, first of all, it was published by Sibling Rivalry Press, which is actually located in Arkansas, so it's a local press. It includes an interview with Nicole and a poem, Trump's Tic Tacs, which she actually wrote after Trump got elected, and it's a really, really good poem. So obviously I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. Definitely go check it out. You can get it on Amazon or the Sibling Rivalry Press's website, which I will link down below. The next book I read is Eloquent Rage, A Black Feminist Discovers Her Superpower by Brittany Cooper. This is one of the Our Shared Shelves picks, and it is Emma Watson's book club on Goodreads, and I try to get the book that they recommend. They usually do one book every 2 months, and it's always feminist literature. This was a really educational book for me. As someone who is obviously white, this really helped to educate me about what it's like to be a black female in a predominantly white-centered society. And I love that she talks about harnessing rage as a good thing and as a thing that will bring about social change. And I really learned a lot from this, and I feel like I'm going to have to read it again to really get everything out of it that I should have, but I really recommend this book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I will definitely read more of Brittany Cooper's writing in the future. The next book is one of my most anticipated releases of 2019, and that is Shout by Laurie Halse Anderson. She is the author of Speak, which is a profound novel that has been around for, 20 years now. And every time I read that book, it still, touches me. So, this one, definitely, I cried through this whole thing. And it says, the true story of a survivor who refused to be silenced. And this is more autobiographical, and it is written in poems. So it's a little shorter than it looks, but every single poem just hits you in the heart, and it was so freaking good. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read is A Just Clause by Lorna Barrett, and I actually read that in ebook format on my Kindle, so this is what it looks like. This is the 11th book in the Booktown Mystery series, and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. Really good. Next, I read The Princess Saves Herself in This One by Amanda Lovelace. This is a collection of poetry, and it's one of those where the writing is really simple, but the point is to have a really hard impact in a small amount of words. While I did find some poems in here that really resonated with me, I was kind of disappointed. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, and as someone who loves poetry, I was really expecting to like this book, especially because a lot of people were raving about it. And I did like it. 3 out of 5 isn't a bad rating, but I really expected it to be a 4 out of 5 star. But it was still pretty good. And one thing that I do like about this, all of her poetry books have a trigger warning list, so that if these are your triggers, you should probably avoid this book or certain poems. And I really appreciated that. It was really good. The next book I read is this Brobdingnagian beauty, The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. Again, highly anticipated book for this year. 5 out of 5 stars. This is a high fantasy epic book, standalone, and it's got dragons in it. It was amazing. The relationships in here are awesome. The character development is really good. The plot is so amazing, and once you get into the story and get to know the characters, it just takes off and you just fly through it. So yeah, definitely go check this out. Don't let the size of it intimidate you. It is well worth it. 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. It was a really fun read and ended on a huge cliffhanger. So I'm really excited that I got the next book in the series. Next, I read The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. This is a novel in verse, so everything is a poem, like slam poetry. I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. Honestly, writing-wise, it's probably a 4 out of 5, but the story just, was so well done that I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. So I highly recommend this book. Next, I read Death on Tap by Ellie Alexander. This is the first book in the Sloane Krause mystery series, set in Bavaria or Leavenworth, Washington. 5 out of 5 stars. Ellie Alexander is my favorite cozy mystery author, so I highly recommend. Next I read Poison Pages, which is the 12th book in the Booktown Mystery Series by Lorna Barrett, and I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars. Number 14 is Sprinkle with Murder by Jen McKinley, and I gave that one 3 out of 5 stars. It is the first book in the Cupcake Bakery Mystery Series. 15 is Who Moved My Goat Cheese by Lynn Cahoon. It's the first book in the Farm to Fork Mystery Series, and I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars. Next, I read Buttercream Bump Off by Jen McKinley. That is the second book in the Cupcake Bakery Mystery Series, and I gave that one a 2 out of 5 stars. I still kind of enjoyed it. I just didn't enjoy the mystery as much as the first book, but I still went on to continue the series. Next, I read Killer Green Tomatoes by Lynn Cahoon. This is the second book in the Farm to Fork Mystery Series, and I gave that one 3 out of 5 stars. Next is One Potato, Two Potato Dead by Lynn Cahoon. That is the third book in the Farm to Fork Mystery Series, and I gave that one a 3 out of 5 stars. Next, I read HoneyBaked Homicide by Gail Leeson. This is the third book in the Down South Cafe Mystery Series. I give that one a 3 out of 5 stars. It's really fun, set in the South, and it's a good old time. And finally, I did a reread. I watched the Jane Austen book club in the month of March, and I forgot how much I like that movie, even though I know it's not the best movie. It's fun. And then I watched the BBC version of Emma with Romola Garai, and so I had to read Emma, and I haven't read Jane Austen in a while. I've read Pride and Prejudice probably 10 times now, but her other books I haven't read as much, so decided that I'm going to reread all of her books this year, and I read Emma. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars again. This is such a fun read, and Emma is such a fun character, and I highly recommend Jane Austen if you haven't read her before. So yeah, overall those are the 20 books that I read this month, and it was a really good reading month. So I am very, very happy with that outcome. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below. Make sure you click the bell icon so that you can be notified anytime I upload new content. See you guys next time. Bye.